Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Looking Back on It. I am here with the big chief, the big cojones, Mr. Randy Charpentier. What's going on, Randy?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Brady's here. Oh, hey, everybody. It's me, Randy, from SNME Radio. Yes. How are you doing, buddy?
Not bad, not bad. We're getting together today to talk about a little, I guess you could say this is a special episode of Looking Back on It, right?
I would definitely say it's a special episode.
So me and Randy had the idea to do this probably a while back here. I know he wanted to do The Cult, but I kind of talked to him and I said, maybe we should do something like a band that we definitely know for sure we both like. And I chose Linkin Park, but but it's only because when I think of Linkin Park, I think of Randy.
Oh, why is that, Eric?
I don't know. You just emanate Linkin Park about you.
Oh, it's all me and Chester, right?
It is. It's just you and Chester.
Very Chesterized.
But we were kind of discussing doing these albums, and we thought maybe just to make it a little bit different, we would talk about Collision Course. And Collision Course is definitely a different album altogether for Linkin Park, and it's a collaborative album by American rock band Linkin Park and rapper Jay-Z. Was released on November 2004 and received amazing commercial success, debuting at #1 on the top Billboard Top 200 and selling over 300,000 copies in its first week.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was, from what I hear too, and what I'm reading as well, it was brought by MTV Mashup. Do you remember that?
See, that's the thing. So I remember this being on MTV Mashups, but I don't remember there being any other episodes of MTV Mashups.
So when you go through the list and everything else as well, like you see Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, everything else on it. But yes, you're right. I didn't find any show or any live performance that they did at that studio, like where they videotaped it, other than this one. So it was really, really weird. But I'm glad we did choose this album.
Yeah, it also actually won a Grammy for Best Rap/Sung Collaborations, which I'm not sure what that means, but it was for Numb and Encore, which is, we'll get into it a little bit after. But the whole album itself was inspired by the Grey album by Danger Mouse, which was like a mashup album between Jay-Z and Beatles songs, which I couldn't find any songs for that like anywhere on the internet when I was looking this up, but I imagine that's got to be insane. Because, what are you going to do? Like, Dirt Off Your Shoulders mixed with Let It Be? I don't really quite understand it. You know what I mean? But the album was produced by Jay-Z and Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park under MTV's Mashups show, like Randy was saying. Many parts were re-recorded to, like, rework the mashups under, like, Jay-Z and Shinoda's directions. So they essentially had an idea when they went in, and they were kind of making it more about the actual overall mashups themselves. So they reworked quite a few of the songs, like changing a lot of like the electronic parts, stuff like that, even altering some of the actual beats and the mastered tracks and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. Like it was kind of put together with like a DVD element as well. So it had like, it's crazy how these guys do it. 4 days they recorded all this.
Yes.
So they went into the studio, 4 days they sat down and they did 5 new tracks, essentially. Went and re-recorded all new vocals, sometimes instrumentals, drums, all sorts of stuff. And they were also, while they were doing that, they were filming the entire time, filming an entire BTS segment that made it onto the DVD. And then at the end of the 4 days, on the 4th day, they played a show at the Roxy where they performed all the songs, which is insanity too. Like, you think you'd be tired after 3 days and no sleep, but try 4.
There you go. Well, I actually watched, we'll go a little back on what you were just saying as well. I actually watched a couple of Mike talking about doing this album and everything as well, and he even said before this idea came up, he did 3 songs or 3 tracks, which we'll talk about as well when we're going into it, and sent it to Jay-Z and said, hey, we should get this done. So it's a combination of exactly both of what we just said to get this album done, and by God, they did a good job.
Oh, they did an amazing job on it. This is by far like one of like my favorite amalgamations of 2 different artists that I really enjoy. Like Jay-Z was one of the first rappers that I really actually enjoyed. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like, you can go back on like, Nas, Notorious B.I.G. There's a lot of great rappers from like, he's like a later, I guess, addition to that. because he didn't really get off the ground till what, like 95, 96?
I wasn't really into rap, so that was the thing. This is my introduction to rap at that point. I guess you can sort of say, like, yes, I heard the songs before. I'm not saying I didn't hear it, but I wasn't like putting it on my playlist every day. If that's what you're asking, it wasn't on my for sure listening. But when this album came out, it definitely became one of my for sure listens.
Absolutely. But this album is definitely just like one of a kind in its originality, and will go down as probably one of the best collaborative albums in my opinion anyways.
To me, yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
Most definitely. So do you want to just run right into it and let's go into our picks for Riff City?
Riff City? Sure, let's do it.
Riff Riffs at the best! Riff Riffs at the best! Riff Riffs at the best! Riff Riffs at the best!
So for this month, this week, what day is it? I always forget what I'm doing when I start these. But for this week on Riff City, I picked the Gigawatt Faint, the instrumental at the very beginning.
Okay.
So this song itself, I didn't really know. Like when we're talking about Jay-Z's catalog, I never really listened to the album that was on as much. So the way the bass riff just grooves, like right on the first, like it's just one note and it's just doing, octaves and fifths and fourths and stuff like that. Just do 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 do. You know what I mean? Just it's super cool. Not to mention the drums are just like so chill to introduce the song. It's just they let that guy just go wild in the studios, and they kind of mixed it with. It's hard to explain. It's like essentially like they amalgamated acoustic drums and electronic drums together to give it like more of like something like the bass drum will like have like a little bit more punch to it because you have that solid, almost using it like a drum trigger essentially, just to hit like really hard on the snare and bass drum hits, and not to mention fill out really the hi-hats on it. The thing is just like super groovy and chill. It's just like perfection, really, in my opinion.
Groovy.
I don't know. What do you got for this week?
Yeah, I guess I'll go a little electronic on it.
Okay.
The beginning of Numb. Like I always say it, even in this, like the beginning of Numb is something that you'll always remember, and you hear over and over, and you just know the song instantly, and I just like it. So
that kind of, well, it doesn't really, but it kind of ties into my top 3 tracks here. Here's the thing. I don't really ever choose these in like particular order necessarily. So for me, like if I had to, I guess this is number 1 on my list, but it's not actually like my number 1 favorite song. And that's Dirt Off Your Shoulder and Lying From You.
Oh, great choice.
Why was that your number 1?
No, that was not my number 1. We already had this, we had this discussion earlier in the car. No, that was not my number 1.
Yeah. It's like I said, in no particular order is this kind of the way I do it. But this song, in my sense, is like the truest use of the word collaboration on this entire album.
Really?
The mix of Linkin Park over top of the Jay-Z track, right into like the heavy syncopated guitar riff and drum riff, right into Lying From You, the right? So amazing way to start the album for sure. And it's almost like an extended club mix of Lying From You, because it just has like just the keyboard like over top of Dirt Off Your Shoulder.
Yeah.
Which is like definitely like, I mean, that's essentially what you're trying to do when you're collaborating anyways, right? And it's slowly layered until the chorus of Dirt Off Your Shoulder. And the seamless transition back into the Linkin Park verse is just so perfect. Like it has amazing flow for the entire song. You can tell maybe this was one of the ones that Shinoda originally approached Jay-Z with.
I'm presuming, I think it was actually the very first one that he did actually say.
Yeah.
Everyone he said that in the interview. So yes, you're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah. Now I may be a little biased on this pick though, because Dirt Off Your Shoulder is like one of my favorite Jay-Z songs, period.
Yeah.
It's a great song. But this will definitely be in heavy rotation in my listening, just for how well it's put together and like how much it makes me like, I don't know if you know this phenomenon. It's called stink face. This is like a metal. It's like a metal term. So essentially, when there's like a breakdown that people like, you just do this.
Yeah.
So like,
I see you do that a lot in the car.
I'll do that a lot in the car. It's really obnoxious to drive places with me. But yeah, I'm just bobbing my head the entire time. What do you have for? Let's trade back and forth picks.
Well, I'll go. I just want to continue what you're saying.
Okay.
It is a great song. It is a great mash, and it's great height. Definitely good job on pairing of the mash too. Lying From You is probably in my top 5 of seeing Linkin Park live. So
Yeah.
all around, just love it. Love it. So yeah, I wouldn't put this as my number 1 on this album, but it's
No.
definitely in the top 3. But I'll give you mine. My number 1 for sure, and there is no 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going
Okay.
to say it before you.
Okay.
Is definitely Points of Authority, 99 Problems, and One Step Closer. Like, what can beat this song on the album?
I think we chose the exact same 3 top 3 tracks. I think because that was definitely on mine as well. Because that's we were kind of talking about it in the car ride over here. But Points of Authority is my favorite song, period, by Linkin Park. And I know you had a differing view.
Yeah, I really don't like that song. I
Really, eh?
really don't like the song. But I will say, in this mash, it fits perfectly. I like it here. So.
Well, it's perfect because it's just like it starts off with that heavy energy right off the bat.
Yep.
The heavy guitar and drums just mesh like so well with the actual lyrical flow of like Jay-Z's song, 99 Problems, right? He's got the Rap Patrol on the Gap Patrol. That part just like it's such a good blend, and like not to mention like 99 Problems is just a good song in general.
Yeah.
It's got good storytelling, it's the right amount, just the right amount of flexing. You know what I mean? Like he's in your face with it, but he's not like super like over the top about it, right?
Yeah, no, Mike did a really good job on this. Like, again, this is probably one of my favorite songs, putting in the car ride by myself, so on and so forth. But did you know that Points of Authority wasn't going to be on the album at all?
On Hybrid Theory?
That's
or
right, on
really?
Hybrid Theory. Yeah, that's what they said. It was set to release January 7th, 2002, but it was canceled. As a single, sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But they were going to make a music video for it, and then instead they used the Points of Authority music video to promote a frat party at the Pancake Festival DVD, in which it was included. So I don't know if you ever seen that.
Packanack?
No.
Isn't that a hunting region?
Yeah, that's it. But I did watch the video after seeing this because I did not know that. But again, I'm not a Points of Authority guy completely.
Well, Points of Authority is the only video that doesn't actually have them playing instruments, doesn't it? It's just like a robot war, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like some weird Michael Bay Transformers jerk-off dream. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely an interesting video, but it's like I think it just has like the only shots of the actual band are like there's like Chester Bennington's face and Mike Shinoda's face in like a mech warrior helmet. Like, you know what I mean? So like it's just a little strange. But I will say that song itself, the mashup, going back to it, it's the only new metal song with actual rap credentials, other than "End Together Now" by Limp Bizkit, because that song has actual credentials. You got Method Man on there, one of the best rappers of all time, right? But I don't know. It could probably have more Linkin Park in like the Points of Authority section of the track, I thought, because that's like one of my favorite parts is like the chorus on Points of Authority, right? So it's I don't know. It's a little different with that, but I mean they had the choice, and this track is just so hype and by far my favorite song on the album, same as you. Their performance on the DVD is just unbelievable as well. I don't know if you've seen that. I rewatched it when we decided to do this album. They're unbelievable. They just kill it.
Yeah, I know it was all good, and the crowd was totally hype into it as well. Again, it's just a really hype EP album that just makes everybody happy, or it just gets you in gear. I call it. So.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot to say this at the beginning. We're in the studio right now.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even introduce it. I just realized, sorry, it just clicked in my head. We're in the new studio right now. We're actually doing video. This will be the first ever video episode of Looking Back on It. So hi, guys.
Sorry, I should look at the camera once in a while,
We're not
right?
used to recording video as well. So we're so used to just doing our audio. We're not even looking at each other at the time. Right? You know what I mean? But let's move on. Sorry, a little off topic there. But my last track, I guess so you could say, it was Izzo / In the End.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it.
You didn't like that song?
No, I didn't like it either.
Here's the thing. I like it just because it's a little different. Because the instrumental is entirely the Jay-Z track.
Yeah.
But it sticks out because of like Mike Shinoda's harmonies on the chorus. So in the end, you don't have that, right?
Yes. You know what? I didn't seem it fit at all to me. Like, honestly, it didn't fit. Like, Again, I love this album. I'm not saying, but out of all the on this album, it just didn't fit for me. So
I could say the same thing, I guess, about like Big Pimpin' and Paper Cut.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that it's hard with Jay-Z tracks that are normally major to put depressing lyrics over top. Let me know what I mean. Like there's obviously Jay-Z has darker songs too and stuff like that, but this song is like very much just like look at me, I'm cool. Come celebrate me. So then you have like, Chester Bennington come in, it starts with one thing. It's like, okay, well, hold on. Like, you know what I mean? Complete mood shift altogether, but it's just a little different because they reworked it to have Chester Bennington's vocals in like a major key, which was different. I agree with you. It doesn't really mesh well with the actual thing, but Izzo itself is just like a super groovy song to begin with, so no surprises there why it's good. And Mike Shinoda is definitely living like a young Eric's dream, the mashup, getting to rap with Jay-Z, you know what I mean?
And he did it well. Like, he did it very, very, very well.
Yeah, and you can tell like that was like more of like Jay-Z's like, I guess, producing influences there, because like Shinoda and Jay-Z both split the producing evenly on this album, so you can tell he's like, okay, no, we're doing one of my songs. You'll make it work, right? And I think it like kind of took them by surprise that they were even able to make it work, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, what do you got for your last pick here?
I guess I'll go Big Pimpin' and Paper Cut.
Ooh, okay.
Right? And again, I don't know. It's just, and everything that they did, it was good. Like, you know what I mean? I can't complain. Even when I say I don't like that song on this album, it doesn't mean that I really don't like it compared to, again, like Numb and Encore and Points of Authority, 99 Problems, and One Step Closer. Like, to me, that I always hit them on repeat.
Yeah.
So I'll use that as my third. But like, the whole album is great. So even when I say it's not, I like it as much, it's just I like the others, which is so much more.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. See, it was really hard for me to like even make my picks, period, because I have just enough. I literally have just enough categories where we could pick one of each song on the record.
True.
We could. This is like truly going to be the only review I've done so far where I can actually talk about all the songs on the album, because I have exactly 5 categories that like I can hit, right?
That's right.
So, but let's get into just over and under, and let's make each other upset at each other,
okay,
and keep moving on. So for my pick for overrated on this album, it's not going to go well, I don't think. But my overrated pick is Numb versus Encore, or Numb and Encore together.
Wow, you're wrong.
Yeah, see, I'm wrong. I knew I was going to be wrong.
The people that disagree with you too?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, this song is by far the most popular song on the album. Yeah. It is like unbelievably well acclaimed and stuff like that. And it was released as the single for this song and even won a Grammy, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah. So essentially, I'm in the majority on this one. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for that reason, though, it's also the most overplayed song on this album.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, most definitely it is the most overplayed. And there's a good reason why, right? It just meshes well and everybody gets into it, the hype.
And to be honest, the thing is that I'm not saying that it's not a good song, because it is a good song, period. In my personal opinion, though, both these songs on their own aren't even really my favorite songs by each artist. Like, Jay-Z's Encore is not like really my favorite Jay-Z song. Like, it's on the Blueprint 3, I think. And that has like Death of Auto-Tune. Like, that's a better song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a million other songs on that album I could pick out that actually stand out.
It was the Black Album, wasn't it on?
I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
Was it Black Album?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Jay-Z's The Black Album.
Oh, okay. I thought it was on the Blueprint. My bad. That's because the Blueprint 3 is like one of my favorite albums. That's why I just assumed it was on that one, because that one had like 5 or 6 major singles that like, took them, to unbelievable stardom. But I get the appeal of both songs. Like, Numb is really not my favorite off Meteora either, truthfully. Like, there's quite a few like things to it that are different. But it's an easy pick for me for overrated, but again, I'm just a guy on a podcast, and these guys are multi-million-dollar recording artists. So what do I really know in the long run, right? You know what I mean? But for my underrated pick on this album, I chose Gigawatt and Faint. And I know I already talked about this earlier, so I did skip Big Pimpin' and Paper Cut. Sorry. I know it's your top three, but this song is just like an amazing mix of both songs. And with like the use of both instrumentals, using the samples from the original Linkin Park and to tie them together, right? Like that keyboard, and the song taps into like the best parts of this album, which is to use Jay-Z's lyrics over top of Linkin Park's dark songs. Because Gigawatt isn't necessarily it's not necessarily a dark song, but just his flow, he has a good sound for that. You know what I mean? And the lyrical content itself is gangster on Jay-Z's part. And then going into Linkin Park's like depressing lyrics is like such a super 180. It's definitely different. And both songs are, just amazing songs in general on their own. So no brainer they would work together. And I think this one just sticks out to me because of the difference in styles between the two songs. And, when they're put together like that, hats off to Jay-Z and Mike Shinoda. You guys did it. You killed it. You did. They really did something different on that. And I think it kind of worked really well. Faint is, it's up there for my favorite songs on Meteor. It's not number one, but it's a really good song too. So it makes perfect sense. What do you got for your over-under, Reid?
Over-unders? So you're saying underrated right now or overrated?
I did both. So you can go over first or under first, whatever you want to do.
Overrated?
Yeah.
I'll start with Gigawatt and Faint.
Oh, it's like that, eh?
Yeah, because I absolutely...
Looks like you're going to be thumbing it home from the studio.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Because guess what I play in my car only?
Yeah, there we go. I guess on the way home. But for me, for all the stuff that's on the album, like it's not that I dislike it. It's just like that's the least song I listen to on the album for the reasons that you just think it. Like when you say it, I don't think it just matches as well the other ones, right? Like the other songs. I can see what you're saying, like with Mike singing to Gigawatt in that, but it just doesn't. It's my least favorite on the album.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, I chose an overrated song that people is loved, worlds over. So, I can't get too upset about it, right? But I don't know. I feel like if you gave that song another chance on the car ride home when we listen to it 15 times, you'll change your mind for sure.
I guess we'll go into underrated, I guess, because everybody knew my top three. So I'll go Izzo and Indian.
Okay.
For it, I guess, again, being my number 4 song, I guess you didn't
number
say
4,
being underrated, it fits in better that way. So, yeah, Izzo in the end.
Yeah,
I love the song in the end too. So, I
mean, it definitely brings something different to the table, that song, right? So it's not the same like vibe as the rest of the album. So like I could see that being a very underrated song because it's like, well, it's different than everything else.
Yeah.
Same with Big Pimpin' Paper Cut. I could see that too. It's not something that was done before that, I don't think. You know what I mean?
No, right.
So it's definitely I could see that. Let's just roll right into our final thoughts though.
Okay.
Final thoughts.
This album came out in a time in my life where I was kind of experimenting with what was going to become my musical taste for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So, like, as a kid, I loved Jay-Z growing up because I thought he was, like, the coolest rapper ever. Like, when he, like, wore his polo shirt, like, over one side in the I Just Want to Love You video? Yeah, I did that. I'll do it right now. I'll take my shirt off.
Thank you. Thank
you know what I mean? But, plus he was the first rapper my parents ever let me buy a record from, an explicit record from Columbia House. Remember when you used to be able to buy like the 50 records at once for 5 cents? The producer gets it. Oh man. But I just rocked the shit out of that album, The Dynasty. Great album. And but I was starting high school and like, my emo, punk, and metal phase, which was not exactly a phase because I'm still in it, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that count?
You haven't left.
No, I haven't left the emo phase. So
haircut.
Linkin Park kind of played a huge role in that as well, like with Hybrid Theory and Meteora. So like this was kind of like a dream come true album in like grade 9. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, oh my God, like my favorite rapper and like one of my favorite bands doing a mashup together. And they did something amazing by coming together and not only mashing up their songs, but essentially writing new songs from that idea.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help but hear 99 Problems when I hear the opening sample of Points of Authority now. So, I don't know. This album will go down as one of Linkin Park's, top-selling albums for a good reason. It's plain and simple. It's amazing, and I don't use this lightly. A platinum listen. Every single song is good. Doesn't matter.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, there's only 5 songs, so I feel like there's got to be... the bar's a little low on that one, but there's nothing you could do.
Yeah. Well, Linkin Park for me. So Linkin Park actually is probably one of the best concerts, or one of the best concerts I ever heard live. And coming out of that, I remember we were just actually talking today about it, seeing Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Metallica. Well, I never really seen Metallica because I was passed out drunk after Linkin Park.
But, you didn't have to volunteer that information.
But Linkin Park was different for me because I didn't listen to that type of music before.
Yeah.
Like that. So when they came up with this, I think this is one of probably the first MASH albums I ever heard. And it was just done right. And it put me in a good mood. Like any party that I go to the cottage all the time, put her up at the cottage. Like my oldest kid listened to it with me, like, you know what I mean, and loved it as well, because it's now connecting both from my old world and her world, right? She loved Jay-Z, right? I didn't know who Jay-Z was. So putting it both together like that, and just the experience, and just remembering all the good times around the campfire, wherever it may be at the cottage, made it really enjoyable for me. This is definitely one of my biggest listens in my personal library, so it's definitely in my top 10.
Better than The Cult?
No, it's not better than The Cult. And I think...
I thought I could catch you on that one.
No, definitely not better than The Cult. So.
I thought I could catch you on that one. I will have you back, and we will talk about a Cult album, because you were so gracious enough to come on and talk about Linkin Park, and you didn't have to. So I do owe you one, and we'll figure out one. You choose the album, we'll do it.
The Cult Sonic Temple.
The Cult Sonic Temple.
First.
There you go. Yeah.
We got a fan. Told you.
There we go. Right. Oh man, we need a second camera just on Mike at all times while he's working. Oh man, but I think that about wraps it up for this show. Why don't we get into our thank yous here, Randy? Do you have anybody or anything you'd like to thank? Anything to plug?
I would actually like to thank the PodPlant.
Yes,
the new home of SME Radio. You can go see the PodPlant, or if you want to see a little more about this facility, go to podplant.ca. I know the guy, so talk to me, I'll talk to him, and I'll set you up and talk to him.
Yeah, also, your people talk to his people, and then you get back.
As well as SME Radio, all our great shows on the network. There's now 18, 19. I think we're going to add another 2.
Yeah.
So it's getting busy. So for anything from BAM to looking back on it.
Yep. Exactly. We're two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, Monday to Saturday night.
Also, Godfathers too. You have your pop culture, right?
Passing.
You know what I mean? They do some amazing interviews. Didn't they just do
Spider Jones?
Spider Jones, right? Yeah, this week.
So yeah, all the stuff on the network, and you can go to patreon.com/SNME Radio to listen to all this fine quality of content.
Absolutely. And
thank you.
What's up?
And I want to thank you.
Oh, well, that's what I want to start off my thank yous with. Thank you for being on my show, Randy.
You're welcome.
Didn't have to. We will have you back soon to talk about a Cult album, like I promised. But if you want to follow me, you can give me a follow on twitch.tv/ERKE90. I will be playing a game that hasn't been popular in about 20 years at all times. Depends what that is.
Yeah, please go watch him, please. He only has like 2 people in that. He needs more followers.
Well, one of them's you, right? So I appreciate it.
I need somebody to talk to, please.
I appreciate the watch. But and if you want, give me a follow on TikTok at ERKE90 Games, where I post clips of stuff that I'm playing.
TikTok now too?
I do. I have a TikTok, and we also have a TikTok for Dark Side of the Elite, where we have one clip of Mr. Brady Wedham himself pulling a 1-of-1 sting and freaking all of us out. But I guess until next time, peace out.
Join us.